Hi everyone, today I'm going to be showing you guys how I make the boxed shape at the bottom of my tote bags and some other bags that I create on my TikTok and Instagram accounts. So you'll see this creates a very nice clean box shape at the bottom of the bag. This creates a nice rectangular base, just a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So I'm going to show you guys exactly how I do that in this tutorial. So keep watching if you want to know how I do that. I'm starting with a pre-cut long rectangular piece of fabric that is essentially going to be the entire base of my tote. I think this one is about 24 inches by 12, but you can do whatever size you want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it in half, wrong sides together, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clip it or pin it, whatever you prefer. And then we're gonna sew it along those sides, along both of those edges to make the tote shape, which eventually after we're gonna use that to make the boxed corners that you see typically in the totes that I make. Once you've clipped both of those sides, then you can open it up and you'll see you finally have that tote bag shape that we're looking for. You're gonna make sure you sew along these two edges, making sure you do not sew closed this opening. Otherwise, obviously, you won't be able to open your tote. So you wanna make sure you leave that open. Sew those two just with a straight stitch, and that should prep us for the boxed corners. I've gone ahead and sewn both of those sides with a straight stitch, and I left this part open so that we can open our tote up. To create the actual boxed corners of the tote, we're going to focus on these two corners, the ones specifically that are against the closed edge, not the ones on the open edge of the tote. So to create the boxed corners, we want to create a box in each of the corners. So we're going to draw a box, a perfect square, which basically takes the same measurements from the corner to create a uniform box, and then we're going to mimic it in the other corner as well. I have a special square ruler which helps me make these squares super easily. So you can either use something like this if you already own it. If not, you can also use a good old-fashioned ruler and do the same exact thing with a regular ruler. So I'll show you guys how to do it with a regular ruler in case you don't have the square ruler that I have. So to do it with a regular ruler, like I said, you're gonna go ahead and measure the same distance and make a mark so that you can create a square in the corner. For this, I'm gonna do 1.5 inches from each corner. So I'll go ahead, mark 1.5 inches right here. I'll do the same in this corner. And you wanna make sure for this edge, you wanna start from the actual stitch and not the edge of the fabric. So I'm gonna start where this black stitch is and measure out 1.5 inches. So you'll see I marked my 2 dots. Then I'm gonna go ahead and create a dot in the corner so that we can actually draw out our square. So I'll go ahead, measure 1.5 inches, make sure I got it even, and then I'll create that box just like that. And then we're gonna do the same exact thing in the other corner as well. For the other corner, I'll rotate it this way so that you can also see it from this angle how it is done. So to create that box again, just gonna measure 1.5 inches from the corner. So 1 dot this way, 1 more dot over here, and then again the point at the corner to create that box. And then gonna connect those dots and just match the box in the other corner. So like I mentioned, I chose to do 1.5 inches, and that's essentially gonna create a 3-inch wide box at the bottom of my tote. So if you want it to be smaller, you can do 1 inch and then it'll create 2 inches, or you can do 2 inches and then it'll create a 4-inch width for your base. So whatever you prefer, I typically like 1.5 inches because I found that it works well with the size tote that I create. But you can do whatever works best for what you're looking for. Once we've drawn out those 2 square shapes in each of the corners, I'm gonna actually get some scissors and I'm gonna cut those out. So I'll just cut along those lines that I just drew and cut out that corner. And then I'll do the other one. Same thing, just cut out that corner. Once you have them cut out, it should look something like this. From this step, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna want to basically pinch that corner. So I'm gonna start with one and then you're gonna obviously do the same thing to the other corner. But I'm gonna start with this corner. I basically just pinch it on both sides and then you just pull it straight. So you'll see it'll create this perfectly straight edge, which is essentially where we're gonna sew. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some clips here so that it stays together when I'm going to my sewing machine. But you'll see that's exactly where we're gonna wanna sew to create that box shape. So like I said, you kind of pinch those corners and then pull them into that box shape. So now you'll see we're kind of getting that box shape at the bottom that we're looking for. From here, we're just gonna go ahead and sew along each of these lines. I've gone ahead and I've sewn each of those 2 corners. So as you can see, I just again stuck with a straight stitch on both those corners and you'll see now we kind of have a flat base. You'll just go ahead and flip the bag right side out. So I'm just gonna go ahead. This material is really easy and flexible, so it's pretty quick to flip it right side out. But you're just gonna go and with your fingers kind of push into those corners to create that nice boxy shape. And then you've got it. You'll see it's even standing up on its own with the box at the bottom. If you want to add more structure to the base, you can add like a piece of cardboard or foam, like a rectangular shape to make it more sturdy. But yeah, you'll see it now has that rectangular bottom. And it's perfect for creating a nice shaped tote. That's basically how I create my boxed corners. Nothing too crazy. I think it works really well to create a really nice clean finish and just makes my totes look a little more elevated than your basic everyday tote. Make sure to follow my TikTok and Instagram if you're not already, if you want to be a little bit more up to date on my content and what I'm making. I'll also probably post more live updates as to new tutorials and videos that are posted on YouTube itself. So if you're not getting notifications on YouTube, you might want to follow one of those 2 to see notifications for maybe new things that I've posted here as well. Thanks so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.